My name is Sandra Ainsley, and I'm the owner of the Sandra Ainsley Gallery. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I knew I wanted to represent artists, and the very first thing I did was put together an exhibition at Holt Renfrew's in their gift department, and I represented a ceramic artist, and I did different exhibitions for them. I did ceramics, and then I did folk art. But I traveled to Santa Fe back in 1982, 83, and there was a glass gallery, and I met the owner of the glass gallery, who took me under his wing, invited me in for lunch, and over the next year, almost on a weekly basis, he would call me. That was before email. He would call me and give me the names of artists that he thought were up and coming and were people that I should know about. And he did this for about a year. So through him, I built up, I guess, an inventory of artists, not knowing what I would do with it. Unfortunately, he left the field, left the city, and I haven't been able to find him since. But that was the beginning of my interest in glass, through this man who really mentored me in some ways. I was building my gallery in the Exchange Tower, and my husband said to me, "You should open your gallery with Dale Chihuly." And I remember saying, I said, well, he'd never show with me, because he never showed with the new gallery. I was just opening my first gallery in Hazelton Lanes. It was, it was a gallery, but it was a kiosk space. This was going to be a space designed by an architect, and it was going to be important. And quite by accident, that day that I said to him he'd never want to show with me, I was in Florida, and I was on vacation, and I went into the Saks Fifth Avenue store, and who did I bump into but Dale Chihuly? He was in that same store, and I I saw him from a distance, and I literally chased after him and introduced myself and told him I was opening a new gallery, and I would love to open my new gallery with him, but I knew that he would never do that because he never showed with new galleries. And he didn't really say anything to me. He just looked at me, and he handed me a card, and he walked off, and then he said, "Call my studio tomorrow." And I called the studio tomorrow, the next day rather, and they knew all about me. And when I opened my gallery in the Exchange Tower, he came to Toronto and opened it. I think that people, when they come here, are a little bit surprised for the first time, because you drive to the back of the parking lot, there's all kinds of transport trailers and all kinds of things happening, but when they open the door, they usually are like very taken back. Like they don't get the contrast. It's like such a shock, which is kind of nice. I had one client who came to see me, and he was used to going to the Exchange Tower and the distillery, and he called me and he said, "Sandra, we had an appointment at 2 o'clock, and it was now 2:30, and he hadn't arrived." And he said to me, I'm not going to be able to see you today." I said, "Well, why is that?" And he said, "Well, I've been looking for you and I can't find you, so we'll have to make it another time." So I said, "Well, where are you?" He said, "Well, I'm in the parking lot." So I walked to the front door. He was actually right in front of my door, but he couldn't imagine that I was inside or beyond that door.
Conversations and art and friendship. You're truly an inspiration and beauty.
So I look forward to the weekend of the 21st and 22nd, having so many of my artists coming to Toronto. We're doing an exhibition with 22 artists, and these are artists who really make contributions to my gallery and to my success over the last 40 years. We're going to have an opportunity for everyone to meet the artists, and they're excited about that. Excited to know that they own a piece by a particular artist, and that artist will be here and they can spend some time.
Over the years, Sandy has built an internationally respected gallery with some of the most important glass artists of our times. I mean, it's incredible when you think about it. Truly an extraordinary.
My Deutsche Vita is being surrounded by my family, And I'm looking over there, my son Daniel is working with me in my business now. I have 2 other sons. Being surrounded with my family and my artists. So my artists in many ways, I feel are, I don't want to sound corny to say they're my family, but the relationship is important. And I mentioned earlier that it is a business of relationships.